Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, back here with your college tournament Fade the Public part 2 for Friday, March the 22nd. We did it for Thursday's games, and now we're doing it for Friday's games. There are 16 games on the board, and I've isolated the 5 most public underdogs for you. Ding, 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 red flag alert. Whenever the public's on a dog, we always want to pay attention. And look, we don't just blindly fade the public dogs. In fact, I agree with several of them for this Friday. But we do use that as part of the handicapping process because, as you know, the public normally plays favorites. But when we get to these higher profile postseason games with good quality teams, all of a sudden we see more public dogs start to pop. And there's actually 4 of them and a fifth that was just a bit outside, which I'll give you at the end of this video. But let's start going down in start time order, 1 daytime and 3 nighttime for Friday. We'll look at that early game first, and that is UAB. The Blazers, 23-11 on the season against 24-10 San Diego State, the national runner-up last year. Don't forget, San Diego State was close to winning the national title last year, came up a little short in that finals against UConn. And San Diego State's problem last year was their offense. They were a very good defensive team, mediocre offensively, and that's the case once again this year. 56th offensive rating, 9th on defense, and they do play slower half-court basketball. So we'll see if that disrupts this UAB team. That is a dangerous underdog here. In fact, as a 12 seed, I think they're a very dangerous offensive team, just 59th best offense. They are weaker on D, and they do play a bit more up-tempo. So tempo will probably be the key in this game. I did use UAB in my bracket, though, so I do think there's some upset potential in this one. It's really going to come down to pace of play. And if San Diego State, they wear red, they both play slow. If San Diego State can slow this game down, I do think it benefits them. The total, we've seen quite a move, though, to the over. It's from 134 up to 139, and that's interesting because although San Diego State's overall tempo ratings in the bottom half this season, they have played faster at times than in years past, and I think that's why some of that early sharp money came in on the over. It's also pushed San Diego State from 6 up to -7, so it's a little bit of a conflict between the side and total. You would think up-tempo, high-scoring would favor UAB, yet the total has risen along with the favorite San Diego State, the slower team technically. But I think San Diego State might run in this game more than people expect, and that is why we've seen some heavy sharp money on the over between UAB and the Aztecs. That game's early, by the way, at 1:45 Eastern Friday afternoon. Okay, let's look at the first of the 3 nighttime public underdogs, and it's Grambling. I said high-profile, high-quality teams getting points. Well, I don't think Grambling qualifies. They're the second worst team in the round of 64. If you look at overall metrics, I think Wagner's the only team that's worse, and even Stetson, some of the other 16 seeds are ahead. And that's why Wagner and Grambling, of course, were the play-in teams, and they did advance on Thursday and Friday. But you can't imagine that Purdue will overlook this game. They lost to a 16 seed, Fairleigh Dickinson, in the same situation last year. Keep in mind, FDU, Fairleigh last year, won that round of 16 game, that play-in game earlier in the week. They weren't even supposed to be in the tournament last year. Merrimack won the tournament but didn't qualify as a first-year Division I team. So Fairleigh not only makes it lucky, but then they win the play-in game, and they pull the biggest upset in the history of college basketball in the tournament, beating Purdue. A couple things are different this year, though. First of all, Purdue will be on upset alert, to say the least. They're also coming off a bad loss against Wisconsin as a 6-point favorite. Do we trust Matt Painter, though? I mentioned this in my bracket preview yesterday, that Painter, after that Big Ten loss, is now 1-14 ATS in the Big Ten tournament the last few years. 1-14 against the spread in the Big Ten tournament. And he's also underachieved in the NCAA tournament, obviously. 3 straight years he's been bounced by a double-digit seed, including that 16-1 loss last year. But you got to figure Purdue will be focused here. Grambling might start the game fast since they just played. They have a little momentum. Wagner actually covered by a basket in the first half against UNC in a similar situation on Thursday. Keep in mind, Grambling also plays extremely slow half-court basketball, so that also might enable them to keep it close for a while. And if they're able to slow this game down and keep it close, they very well could hang within that big spread. It's 27 across the board. We have seen it drop to 26 in some locations. Total hasn't moved much, around 139. But once again, once Grambling gets behind, they're going to have a tough time catching up, as they do play a slower half-court style, and they're one of the worst offensive teams in the nation. Last year, Fairleigh Dickinson was one of the worst defensive teams in the nation, but they had a pretty good 5-out motion offense. That's the exact opposite. Grambling's more of a defensive team and no offense. So I just don't see Purdue losing this one outright. We do not have another 16 beating a 1 this year with Purdue. They might not go far in the tournament, but they're not going to overlook Grambling in this spot. All right, 2 more public dogs for Friday night. This one goes at 9:40 Eastern, and that's James Madison Longwood and James Madison are the only two Virginia teams that made the round of 64 because Virginia, of course, got bumped in that ugly outing on Tuesday night against Colorado State in the play-in round. And James Madison, the Dukes, they're for real. 31-3 on the season straight up. I did use them in my bracket to upset Wisconsin. I thought this was one of those double-digit seeds that could make some noise. James Madison, a 12 versus 5. We often see many 12s pull upsets. I just mentioned the public likes UAB. Well, they like JMU Madison as well. And I would agree with the public here. This is another live dog in the bracket and also for the game itself. Madison, an excellent offensive team, 84 points per game, 48% shooting from the field. And they do match up with the 55th best offense, 78th best defense. So they're a balanced team as well. Now, they do play up tempo, 71st in tempo this year. And we all know Wisconsin prefers more of a half-court style, 308th in tempo. So that is the concern here, is that James Madison likes fast. Wisconsin, the better team, plays slow. But Wisconsin just made it all the way to the Big Ten finals and came up a little bit short against Illinois. They upset Purdue, as I mentioned, the game before on Saturday. So how much do they have left in the tank here? This could be one of those spots where they come out a little bit flat. And if so, James Madison can push the tempo and maybe pull the upset. So the public likes the JMU Dukes. I definitely think there's some reasons to like JMU. It's going to come down to tempo, though. Just like that San Diego State UAB game, we got the underdog wanting to play faster, the better team, the favorite, one of the slower game. We'll see if JMU is able to dictate their preferred pace against Wisconsin. Very good JMU team. And by the way, they were eligible this year in the Sun Belt to make the tournament, and they, of course, won the conference tournament. It would have been very interesting to see had they not won it, if they would have still gotten in despite being a 30-win team. And the reason I say that is because the football team was not eligible for bowls their first year in Division I, and they made a huge stink about it. The NCAA let them in. Coach bolted right after that. Quarterback left afterwards. And I don't think they made any friends with the NCAA, but they got the automatic bid, so they didn't have to worry. JMU, that's at 9:40 Eastern Friday night. All right, one more game on the late card. It's the last game at 10 o'clock Eastern. Grand Canyon, 29-4 straight up Grand Canyon against St. Mary's, 26-7 on the season. St. Mary's, of course, coming off the big win against Gonzaga. They had won the regular season, split the regular season meetings against the Zags, but then got the conference tournament. They've been off for 9 days, though, so a 9-day layoff, whereas Grand Canyon just won last Saturday night against Texas Arlington. I had a strong best bet for my clients, minus the 6 at WagerTalk.com last Saturday night, so that was not a surprise. But they needed that win to get in, as they probably would not have gotten in even with the 28 wins heading into that championship game. They're now 29-4. This is a good Grand Canyon team, and definitely a team that can make some noise once again. You know, it's funny, the public is leaning towards these live dogs. I think a lot of them are, with all three of them that we've talked about, are at the 12-5 situations, and the public knows over the years the 12-5 has been a very good upset pick. Although in recent years, the last 5 years or so, the 11-6 upsets have been more prevalent. The 12-5s have cooled off a bit, but these are always live dogs, and this is another balanced 12 seed. They like to play fast as well, 135th tempo. Grand Canyon, 60th offense, 46th on defense. St. Mary's, of course, plays extremely slow, always one of the slowest, best coached half-court teams in the country, and they play at the 358th. That's the 5th slowest tempo in the nation out of 362 teams. So it's going to really come down to pace. Once again, all three of these 12 seeds, UAB, Madison, and Grand Canyon, like more up-tempo style, whereas the favorites prefer a slower half-court style. And we also do have maybe potential flat spots. St. Mary's off for a week and a half after their big win over Gonzaga. Wisconsin coming up short in the championship game. You know, we'll see if it lingers here. And I can see why the public is on these 12 seeds. I don't really disagree necessarily with any of them. I think they are live dogs, and it's going to come down to the pace of the games of which team can dictate their preferred tempo. All right, those are the four most public underdogs for Friday in the round of 64. Let's look at one game that just missed the cut. Also, some public sentiment on Western Kentucky. That game's an early game at 2 o'clock Eastern on Friday afternoon. Western Kentucky opened 15. They're down to plus 14.5. And I agree with the public. Once again, this is only a public lean. It's not quite as public as the other four dogs I gave you. But this is a situation where I would not fade the public. In fact, I have a free play posted for Friday right now at WagerTalk.com, and it is Western Kentucky plus the 14.5. You can go check out that analysis for free on my page. Western Kentucky likes to play fast. We talk about these 12 seeds that like to play fast. Well, the Hilltoppers take it to another level. In fact, out of 362 Division I teams, they might be a 15 seed, but they're the fastest tempo team in the country this year. And that'll really be the difference in this game. If they can run with Marquette, They can trade points and maybe stay within the double-digit margin. Shaka Smart got VCU all the way to the Final Four as an 11 seed in the play-in round. When the play-in round started 13 years ago, but he's actually really underachieved since at Texas, now at Marquette. And although Marquette maybe survives this game, they probably will. It'll be interesting to see how far they go, because I just can't overlook that blowout loss to UConn earlier this season was the one that really jumped out to me when they lost by 28 in mid-February. Then they lost by 7 at home against UConn, and then, of course, lost by 16 in the championship game last week. Just shows that they're not able to step up in class. Now, I don't think Western Kentucky is UConn. I get that. But it does concern you a bit. Marquette probably survives here, but I think Western Kentucky plus the 14.5 is worth a look. So I would agree with the public lean in that game at 2 o'clock Eastern. All right, those are the 5 most public dogs for Friday, March the 22nd. Do me a few quick favors if you're liking this video. I'm going to do it for the Sweet 16 for the Elite 8 as well, but be sure to comment below and let me know if you want to see more of this Fade the Public tournament style editions. And also hit the thumbs up, the like to keep this great content free. Click subscribe and hit the bell as well so you know when these videos go up each and every week for the NCAA tournament. And don't forget, I'm also doing daily NBA quick hitters in which I analyze every NBA game on the board in like a 10 to 12 minute video. If you're liking those as well, let me know. Comment below. I read all the comments and I reply back. Who are your sleeper picks here for Friday? Look, Friday we got 16 more games in the round of 64 before the round of 32 takes place Saturday and Sunday. Give me some upsets, upset alerts, some double-digit seeds you think can win outright on Friday. Chime in below. Let's win together here on WagerTalk TV. I read all the comments and I reply back. And don't forget, if you want my official best bets for Friday college basketball, locked and loaded for my personal clients on a daily basis, you also can get them and buy them a la carte on a daily basis. Single games, multi-packs, or the one-day all-inclusive for just $39 for Friday is College Basketball Central, WagerTalk.com, Steve Merril. And while you're there, consider a 7-day all-access as it gets you both college and pro basketball for 7 straight days and nights. It's normally $99, but a special promo for this video gets it down to $69 with promo code Merril7. That's 2 R's, 1 L, Merril, the number 7. Merril7, just like you see on the screen there, gets you 7 days and nights for just $69. That's less than $10 a day. But you got to use that promo code at checkout. Choose the 7-day all-access for $99, and at checkout, enter promo code Merril7, and you get it down instantly, down $30 to just $69 for 7 days and nights of all sports. That gets my Friday best bets, all of Saturday and Sunday. It actually gets you next Thursday's Sweet 16 best bets, 7 days and nights with promo code Merril7. Use it anytime throughout this weekend before it expires on a 7-day all-access for just $69. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and X as well, at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L, at Steve Merril on Twitter and X. And don't forget to also post free plays throughout the week on Instagram. Follow me on IG. Enjoy the games and stay tuned right here to WagerTalk TV for more great college and pro basketball content coming up next.